this episode, I'm headed out to prospect for gold on a new stretch of river that is below a major gold mine from the 1800s. I plan on searching the river and drainages below the mine to see if there's any gold and amalgam that has been washed down from the old workings. I've found both gold and mercury amalgam further downriver on past outings, and I have a hunch that the creeks and drainages directly below the mine might be where it's coming from. Well, hello and welcome, folks. Prospector Jerry. We're on another adventure today. Just stumbled upon Mama and her babies. They're getting big. Now this creek is flowing down and into the river right there. This bedrock was hollow underneath. Looked like a good spot to dig. I popped the cap off of right there, panned up the material, and here's what I found. One little coarse piece. Hasn't traveled super far. It's very rough. It's hard to see in the camera. See if I could dig any more material. Whoa. Let's see if I could dig any more material from right here and get any more. This bedrock is an excellent place to look for gold, as its fractured layers act as riffles in the sluice box, trapping any heavies traveling down during a major flow. The old-timers would use copper plates coated in mercury to trap fine gold as it made its way through the sluice boxes. A lot of this mercury would get washed out during the process and end up settling in the same places other heavies do in the rivers and streams below the mines. If the mercury is kept cool and underwater, it can't evaporate, so it could remain there for quite a long time. Gold gets collected in this mercury over time and forms amalgam, a mixture of mercury and gold. Okay, broke a little bit more off, found a little bit more gold. This piece is a little bigger and rounder. That dark piece right there is gold. Little BB of gold. You hear it? All right, we're starting to get somewhere. Finding some gold. Found some mercury covered gold. Nice little chunks. Same crack. I'll show it to you. That's a chunk covered in merc. You can hear it. Some more little bits. Got some more in there. All the other bedrock's pretty secure. They don't want to come up. I got rid of all the stuff that would break up fairly easy. Got some gold out of it. Time to move on. Here's where I've been working. Broke a bunch of little ledges off of here. You can't even really tell, but there's a bunch of caps on here. Been tapping everything with the hammer. Everything else is pretty secure. So time to move on. I think the plan is to hike down here. Right down here, there's an outlet from this old hydraulic mine on the hill. It comes down really steep in the bedrock. They were using a lot of mercury, and it was all fine gold. I want to do a little experiment and crevice for some mercury pockets. See if I can't find any amalgam. Be cool to find a nice blob full of gold. So here we are. This is all man-made, or at least the tunnel way up there is. They probably just made the tunnel, and all this was erosion after they made the tunnel. But there's a hydraulic mine up on the top of the hill. They made a tunnel at the very bottom to shoot all the material out down here to the river. So this isn't a natural stream. There never really was a stream right here. But this was the exit for their hydraulic working. So I know it was fine gold, and I know they use mercury. So we're gonna try to find some crevices here and see if we can get some amalgam. We're on to something now. Show you what I see. I'll show you what I found. So the river's just all slack up in here. Nothing but smooth bedrock, so water has to be gushing through here. This is on the inside bend. That's the inside bend right there, coming around, going up like that and coming around. So, sorry, I'm on the outside of the bend. Here is the hydraulic workings, the little drainage I was showing you. When I was walking back up this way, like this, I was looking down and I seen that. That's a big old chunk of iron. And it was laying up against that like that. Now I'm thinking maybe it came from the workings. But it was kind of odd. It was all tucked up tight against that. There's this tiny little crack up here. And I don't know what it was about this crack. It was next to this. Just a little pocket. It was really tightly packed in there. And I'm like, what the hell? Let's do a pan. When I was doing that pan, I got excited because, let's see if I can find it, this guy. That's a chunk of iron I pulled out of the pan. And so this chunk of iron was in this little hole. Check it out. See that guy up there? That's a little chunky nug. A chunky picker, I mean. Another little piece right there. Where'd that piece go? Yeah, so nice little bit right there. And this chunk. That's pretty coarse. Nice little bit right there. You can't really see it very well, but that's that hydraulic channel that I was just in. It comes down like this and starts flowing, and the river's flowing this way. Came down here and I noticed some bedrock that was all knotted up, falling apart. You can see that piece is still there, but it's coming off. Broke a little bit of it away. It wasn't very hard digging. Caught a little bit of gold. Thought I'd show you guys. So I'll snuffer it up, pan out the rest of this stuff. Well, it's 4 o'clock. Need to start getting out of here. I finished off this little hole. Used the snuffer bottle. Sucked it out of there. Got every little bit I could. Got a little tiny bit more gold. Even worked on this crack over here. Well, I started off the day thinking I was going to do some sniping. Didn't really bring any stuff to pan, just my little pan. All the gold that I found today was just panning. I just did a snuffer dump. Let's check out what I did for the day. Got some chunky bits in there. Some mercury covered gold bits. One nice chunky picker. A couple of other little bits. Not bad for a day. Probably at least a gram in there, if not more. I gotta pack up, start heading out of here. I think I'll take a dip before I head up the hill. That way I'm nice and cool. It was a good day. Well, it looks as though my hunch was right, and there's definitely much more amalgam closer to the mines. I'll keep this in mind when planning future outings. The creeks and drainages definitely need to be explored more. There's a good possibility of a large pocket of amalgam just waiting for me to find. Not sure what that is. Maybe like a possum or a raccoon or otter or something like that. Some more bones. This area is rich in mining history. yet still has a lot of gold and much more adventures to be had. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, and with each new discovery, I find myself much closer to finding something great. If you're interested in purchasing gold and minerals included in these episodes, please check out my Etsy store with the link listed below. I'd like to say thank you to all my Patreon members. It's because of you that these adventures are possible, and I can't thank you enough for all of the support. If you're considering becoming a Patreon member, check out the link in the description below. There's also a link in the top right corner of the next screen. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button and drop a comment below. Thank you for watching, and as always, I wish you heavy pans.